Whoa, okay. I know the webcam is a bit laggy, but it's all good. Oh, I made a video last night, which is two videos if you're watching my channel. The basic income. Now, in my channel, I never had that many viewers straight away. So let's talk about now, let's have a bit of background about myself to show you guys. I only studied midway through. I try my best to blend in to be a feminist or the left, but somehow it doesn't work. Now, as an individual, myself, who has worked in the food stamp industry in and out from one of the metropolitan city area compared to, you know, outer suburbs. And when I look at the food stamp, it's a huge difference and a huge different demographic people, right? Now, I don't know how the America goes with the social universal or UBI, let's put it that way. UBI. So it does reduce the stress. And here's my take on, right? As a worker who provides food stamp, it would definitely will help the mental health, the one who suffer depression or whatever in the bubble. In Australia, if you are allowed to, you're not classified for under the disability or any sickness. There will be some consequences for you to go back to the workforce to work minimum probably 12 or 15 months. They struggle to get out of bed, right? And it's no joke for them. Now, when they are pushed having a social welfare, unemployment, which we call it in Australia, we call it New Start allowance. There's regulations and things that you have to do, which is you got to do job activities, which you have to do some, job hunting, and you have to do it within the agencies like 5, 6 hours per day. And you're expected to get a job. Now, the funny thing about Australia is they give an incentive to any employers to hire, whether this particular group or the more marginalized you are, which I mean, like, the more, I can't say fucked up, the more unhireable you are, the more incentive the employer, the agency will get. So, for example, if you're indigenous, long-term unemployed on drugs and alcohol, it is the best for agencies for them to get hired. Or perhaps this group of people or this type of people be marginalized based on they're coming from Middle Eastern and less likely to get chance of getting employed and long-term unemployed. And for them to get hired, it benefits them because there's incentive behind. It's a win-win-win. The employer gets the incentive, the job agency gets the incentive, and this is coming from the government. We call it job compact. Say if the worker works for 3 months, they give you this amount of incentive. If the worker works 6 months, they give you extra incentive. If the worker works in 12 months, they give you more incentive because they want to push people to work, especially unemployed. The more crisis, the more effed up you are. As a person who has suffered mental health before and depression, anxiety, and things like that, it takes now we're on this medication base right now. They don't want to deal with you guys with normal without any medication or things like that. So they chuck you guys, dump down medication, and expected you to go and find a job. Now, for those who doesn't know, I never take on a medication, but what I hear from my customers, my clients, and my friends, it varies your mind, right? And what I truly believe about UBI is the fact of when you have the thing, especially those marginalized group, those who suffer with mental health, it takes time. And what I just mentioned before, right? You're putting all these regulations, standards, strict guidelines for order for them to get unemployment benefits. It actually makes it worse for them because they could not get up the bed or go to a job agency or things like that. And I get to see a lot of them. They say, I missed my appointment, I missed my job search. I don't have a phone because I am so poor, I don't even have a phone. I don't have phone credit. That your facility has a phone. Nowadays, getting a job, you need a phone on you 24/7. These guys, they will call you up and you have to ace the job interview questions, right? So having the UBI will benefit the marginalized group, especially towards the mental health, right? Those who suffer mental health. And it's for them to have this comfort and their pace to recover. Now, how long is that going to take? That's various to every single individual because what I see right now, what the government's doing with mental health is they push it into an action plan. They push it into this whole, 12-week or 5 week, and try to identify what's their strength base, what they like to do, and push them into this grid. And after the 5th week or the 4th week, they expected them to get a job. And we have seen many decades, and even myself, who works in the food stamp industry, have seen how much has backfired. It's not doing any better for them. It's actually making worse. So having this UBI with no catch or any guidelines that will help these groups. Now, in the future, there'll be, nowadays there's more and more people on stress leave due to mental health, right? What about those who are unstable, who lost their jobs or things like that? These will be the good groups, right? You got the mental health, then you got the unstable, those who just lost their jobs, right? Because who can predict your job or your company can survive? Nobody can do that, right? So whether you lost your job to automation or job cut or the company went bankruptcy, it's good to have a bit of money. I know it's I know it's not the most money, $250 each week, but the $250 at least it cover some expenses. So it does reduce the stress, but not completely because having a welfare or UBI, the goal is not to reduce all your stress and live happy ever after. That is depending on how your lifestyle is. And I'm pretty sure if I've never been to America, but I'm pretty sure if you move to some states in America, it's a lot cheaper. And $250 with rent and food and everything will cover everything, right? When you have that. The same thing with Australia, right? Now, as a person from Australia, we do go through like if $250, in my opinion, I think it's very tough. But if you go through smaller cities, they chuck them out there. Now that's what the government trying to do nowadays, to chuck you on the small cities or rural cities. The problem with rural cities or small cities, there's less jobs. There's no jobs. So it's creating ghetto cities, when you're having that. And that's the one part that I'm afraid what does the UBI actually pushes people if they get to that stage, as I mentioned before. But those who have stable income or two breadwinners in the household, I reckon they'll be a lot better off than those marginalized group as what most people says, oh, this is bad, it creates lazy, it creates this. Well, I won't say it completely creates lazy because we do have to think of the future because of the automation. And it's true. I get to see daily life and the TV trying to chuck us into accepting this cashless society and things like that. We will lose heaps. Trust me, we will lose heaps as well. And as a person who has been to China for the last 2 years, I've seen how much it has created. All right. So when I see UBI, it is great. There's pros and cons. And obviously, it will benefit those who's on the income. It's like, or people who, or those, their jobs hours has been reduced. So having the 250 per week can cover because we're in this unemployment, and where casuals and part-time work is increasing. So having this 250 on the side will benefit those. But how long is this going to go? Because jobs are shrinking. Now, what is going to be the future is going to be like, what, $2,000 per month or $3,000 per month? I don't know how Andrew Yang is going to work this out in the future. I'm pretty sure they have to do some good taxing on bloody each robots. But where does the line draw? Because it's great for the economy. The money goes through the economy, giving free money. The money circulates. Now having that, and at least that is better than what we have in Australia. We call it basic income. Now, basic income card is like it's sort of like a bank card that they give to each individual, or those who's on some certain towns or certain cities, right? Instead of giving out cash, well, they only give out 20% cash and 80% on this card. Now, this card is you cannot take cash out. You only use this card and go out to every single um hey, no, I'm not free. I gotta go hospital today. So having this card is you only go to certain shops. When you go to certain shops, and it controls what you do. Obviously, you cannot buy drugs. Obviously, you cannot buy alcohol or smokes. You're very limited on creating on certain places. Now, that's what Australians doing at the moment with the basic card, and those who fall under that certain suburbs or certain places, they're tough luck. Now, this basic income card really, really marginalized the Australian Indigenous because they literally wipe out what they do, like smoking, drinking, and all sorts of stuff, even paint and petrol. You know, wanting to straighten up their life to be a moral good citizens, right? Um, I'm just on the chat because I know the person. Look, I can't come today because of my mate has to go to the hospital today. He has to get his X-ray done. Okay, so yeah, that's the reason why I cannot come today. Now, that's what I try to say: the basic income or the basic income, which one's better? So yeah, yes, with the Italian dude. So I'm gonna end the video now.